Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have another speed build for you. Today I decided to build a kind of a one bedroom house in Oasis Springs. I saw this picture online and I wanted to kind of have a go at a mid-century sort of styled build, but in the desert, and I had to cut out a lot of the footage because I couldn't work out how I wanted to do the roofing. So you can see there, this is the original roofing that I had, but then I chose to change it because I thought it was just a little bit too basic, and the picture I was going off was of from the back of it, so that's where I got the design for the pool from. I do add my own little flair to it, as you will see later in the build, but I wasn't too happy with the roofing. It just looked, as always, sometimes when you get real life builds, they look good in the picture and then you translate it into Sims and you're like, well, this looks basic now. It just looks like a box with a weird roof on it. And also I was trying to match up there was the eaves, I think it was, of the roof, and it was just getting longer one side and too long the other side. So ended up what I did was I added a second floor, which I put the bedroom on, and then I also add in a little skylight as well, and also these just like single slat roofs, as you can see there. Not single slat, but just like individual pieces of roof, and just add a little bit extra pizzazz to the build, make it look a little bit more exciting. And then I also choose some just single piece roofs as well, because I could imagine them maybe being solar panels. Obviously being in the desert, you're going to get a nice amount of sun. Why not utilize it and put some solar panels in? Good clean energy. But yeah, I hope you will like this. I kind of struggled at what I wanted to do for this build. Like, I saw the picture online and then I was like, oh, let's build that. And then I was trying to think of all different ways to make it look a little bit more exciting, basically. That's the gist of it. It was like, it looks boring, how am I going to make this more exciting? So I think I did. I like the way it turned out. The best part of it, in my opinion, is the pool in the backyard, and I make the house is basically open plan, and I really did like that because it really gives it a nice cool aesthetic to the house, because you're in the desert, you're not going to be wanting to have anything too hot, so I use quite cool colours and all that jazz. So yeah, hopefully this video still isn't a bit too fast. As always, I take way too long to build, and this is a 1-bedroom 2-bathroom house, and yet somehow it was half an hour long. Like, what am I doing with my life? How does it take me that long to build a 1-bedroom house and a 2-bathroom house? What took the longest for me was mainly, because I cut it all out, was the roofing, but then also trying to work out where I wanted certain bits in the house. And there's still, like, it is, if you think about it, it is just one long corridor. I do put in a divider by the kitchen, and I do put in a fish tank, and that kind of acts as a divider, but isn't really, because I really wanted to use those doors that came with Get Famous, because they give a lovely mid-century vibe to them, and I wanted to use those, but they don't come in the shorter wall height, so I had to use the taller wall height. And I was putting in like two-bit walls to try and act as the dividers, but then I just didn't like the way it looked because they were so flipping tall. Like, can't I just have those doors shorter, please? Is it too much to ask? Probably. I'm not a game developer, but I'm here adding in some extra stuff on the outside of the door, outside of the house. I saw Deligracy doing this on one of her latest builds. I'll link that in the description below, and I thought it looked quite nice. Adds in that, makes it look a little bit more natural, if you get what I mean. So, and it just made the walls look a little bit more exciting, that they're not just plain. Hello, and I'm back. Sorry about that if there was a little bit of a weird sound going on there. What happened was, for some reason, my footage wasn't playing. It just froze, and I can't explain that, so I'm trying my best to do my editing. It's gonna be a little bit poor, so I do apologise, but I got like 10 minutes in and I don't really want to start doing the voiceover all over again because the footage decided to stop playing. And yeah, now we're back. Nice to see you again. Hope you had a good time. Hope you were enjoying this video. And yeah. Oh, excuse me, I don't know what I'm talking about. See, this is the thing when you sit down for 20 minutes and you're like, well, what on earth am I meant to be talking about? Life's good with me, if anybody's interested out there. Yeah, I'm back to doing uni work as per usual. I have an essay due on the 9th, which I procrastinated a little bit too much. I know it's not due till the 9th of May, but I should have started it a little bit earlier ago, but what can I do? It's what I do. It's what I do at university. If anybody says they're at university and they don't procrastinate, then they're lying. You can try and not procrastinate, but you do. It's just automatic. But yeah, back to the build. See, there we go. I tried those middle wall dividers there, and then I tried the half wall, and I just didn't like the look of it. And then I wanted to keep those big windows because they look lush. But then if I had the cabinets against the windows, then you would see them, like up against the window. And there's no nice... Why didn't I think of that? I could have used like the smaller windows. Why didn't I think of that? Well, anyway, I thought it was a nice feature anyway with those little slats of wood on the front of the windows to cover that bit. It's a nice little feature. I just shrunk them down using the left bracket key, and I thought it looked quite nice. And I don't know why I didn't think to use the shorter, the smaller wall height windows when I could have just used those. Well, now I realise. But yeah, as always, I keep using these cabinets from Jungle Adventure, and I could have used the ones from Cool Kitchen because I used some of the stuff from Cool Kitchen, but I kind of like these cabinets, and there isn't really some sort of a mid-century sort of vibe one, and I didn't want to go with the pea green colour, which is very mid-century. I was just like, I don't fancy using all that green. I wanted it to be a lot more cool I'm getting stuck for words here. In the desert, there we go. And yeah, I do end up changing their colour. I think I put them a bit lighter because I thought it was a little bit too dark. I wanted to have the dark bottom, or like the dark cabinets, and then the lighter countertop, but alas, we don't have that much flexibility with them, so I couldn't really do that. And then, as always, I had to get in some shelving, and I had to use the white shelves. I thought, I can't not use the white shelves. They are brand new if you've updated your game, and if anybody doesn't know who... the game had these shelves, but they weren't in white, but they finally released them in white. So, yay for that. Look at me talking about a shelf, just like James Turner doing a video with a house just for using shelves. That's a pretty good build. But yeah, this is the kitchen. This is mostly the kitchen done, and I realised that I put in a fan over the kitchen, but I don't actually put any other fans in there. So I think this, when this video goes live, the build will be on the gallery, but I probably will put in some extra fans. Just because I put one in the kitchen, I might as well put some more around the house. And yeah, but most of the kitchen now has taken its shape, and now we're going to be moving on to the living room. As you can see, it's still a very much open plan house, and I did struggle on where to put the bathroom, because the thing is, when you do bathrooms, I really don't think it works well when you've got the high ceilings or the taller wall height, but it just worked so I could get those doors, so I worked around it. But use the stuff from Get Famous because that had the really nice mid-century aesthetic to it, and I do love that little coffee table. I think it's stunning. It's just so mid-century. I could imagine my nan having it or something in the 60s. Like, it's just perfect. Or even, yeah, my nan, I was going to say my mother was, yeah, but my nan probably would have had it in the 60s. But yeah, just trying to find like other furniture which fitted with the aesthetic, because like you get a nice amount of furniture and then you're like, well, what else to add to it? There's no exactly mid-century lamps, where that kind of one looks kind of mid-century-ish. I can imagine my nan having that lamp as well. I think my dad did in his old house. So yeah, and then also wanted to keep with the whole thing of it being open and lots of light coming in, I could imagine these windows having to have like reflective on them because so much heat would be coming in. But you'd want, if you're living in a desert, you'd want all this natural light coming in. And the room to the right, I was planning on making that the bedroom, because at first it was only going to be a bungalow, like a lovely like desert bungalow. But then, because I added the second floor to make the build look a little bit more exciting, I turned it into a bit of a green room. And by green room, I mean I just filled it with loads and loads of plants. I put some wicker furniture because I could imagine it being like an outdoorsy glass room. If you could have like those sliding doors, I could imagine them putting it on that sort of house. So that's what I imagined for it. But I just put a load of plants in there just to make it look a little bit different from the rest of the house. I used some wicker furniture and just to make it look a little bit more, as I've said 3 times, different, because it's like you build that house, like, oh, what's this going to be? And then you sometimes struggle with the aesthetic to keep it going throughout the whole house. Whereas it's like, for a room, sure, the living room looks really nice and mid-century, but then you're like, how else do I tie in the whole of the house to fit this aesthetic? It can't. That's the problem when you go for like century build sorts of things. If you don't... Sure, I know what 1960s builds look like, but if you're not sitting there with absolute sort of image replicas, then sometimes it can be hard to get that true aesthetic, and I think I do achieve it in a sense, but I should have probably sat there and built this with like examples of 1960s kitchens or something, just to try and make it look a little bit more realistic, and if it was from the 1960s, for example. But there's elements of modern in there. There's elements of new, elements of old. There's only so much stuff you can really link in, because obviously the Get Famous stuff. There's lots of amazing stuff that came with it, but it didn't come with a new oven. It didn't come with new counters. Oh, I just realised I never put a fridge in. Well, I'm glad I realised this before I uploaded it. So, no fridge. So, if you want, you can cook things, but you can't have a fridge. I don't know why it just occurred to me, because obviously Get Famous didn't come with a new fridge. I didn't put one in. I guess I'm going to have to remove a window to put one of those in, because you can't really have that up against a window. Oh, well, you could, but then I might do the... Oh, I don't know, that's going to, like, change the whole build now. Well done, Connor. Well done. But yeah, here, I will do that. I will do that. But here you can see me using the fish tank as a sort of divider, just so that it's not separate, but at least it feels like there's a bit of division between the living room and the entrance hall, and also the kitchen. There we go. Couldn't think of the word. And now here we are moving on to the green room. I think these sofas came with what's the pack with the patio, perfect patio, I think it is, the one that came with a hot tub. Could be wrong, but I think it's the one that came with a hot tub. So yeah, I just kind of fill it with plants. I probably could have gone a little bit crazier with the plants and put many more on the table, but I think I'll do that for when I upload it, because I was just using it where they snap to, and I think it would look nicer if I just cluttered it with a few more small plants. So I think I'll do that. As I have a fridge to add, I might as well add a few extra bits. Can't believe I left out the fridge. Oh, like one of your amenities. It's like EA for getting out toilets. It's one of your amenities. I'm going to leave out a fridge. Let's not make that a habit, though. I don't want to leave out the fridges. But yeah, I felt like putting an easel in just to make it a little bit more exciting. Like give them a skill, but put a guitar in, all that jazz. So I think that's mostly the downstairs done, and this is kind of where I really like the way this turned out. Decided to raise up the fountains, and then I also add in, as you can see, I'm adding these bits in from Jungle Adventure. It took a while to try and get them all to the right height, but I might make it like a little fountain unit, and to fit in with the stones, because I put in as you can see, I put in a diving board there, or a diving block. I guess it's a block, and I just thought it fitted really nicely. Oh, I hate the word nice. But instead of these just like fountains sitting there, they have their own sort of unit, and it kind of fits in with like all the stones around them, and yeah, I thought it made the pool look a little bit more exciting than just having. I like how the diving board or the diving block fits in with the, or should I call it a jumping block instead? Because they do dive in, but it's not like exactly an Olympic diving board sort of thing. So, but yeah, I thought it made it look a little bit more exciting. I do end up changing the colours of the pool and whatnot, but here I decided to add in a sort of patio area, and I really do like the way it came out because the stones really do add to the whole. It's kind of built into the land rather than it just being cut, so the stones make it look a little bit more jagged but also more natural, rather than just like somebody's plopped down some tiles and there you go, they didn't really worry about the dirt. They've kind of built it in using stones. It also adds to the fact that the pool doesn't look completely, because obviously you can't have circular pools, which is kind of frustrating because I'd love a circular pool, but I just kind of do that around the edges all over, just so it kind of makes it feel a little bit more natural, and they kind of try to fit it in with the environment, because to be honest, there isn't that many stones, though we don't really have that colour though, from the stones in Oasis Springs. It would be much nicer if we had that colour. And I use some of the stuff from Strangerville, so there's another break. Please tell me that the footage isn't going to go wrong this time. Oh no, we started again. Yeah, I wish we had those colour stones. They would look a lot nicer, but what can we do? Somebody had to go buy stones from another desert. They couldn't get them from Oasis Springs. But I really like the way this little patio area turns out. I make those lounges, and then I really liked that corner sofa there. I thought it was an interesting bit, because you wouldn't really think to put a corner sofa out in the desert outside, because you try and usually fit them in the corners of builds, but I really liked it there. It just made me think of like when people have like new furniture put in outside, if they have like a whole unit fitted, then they try and make it look a little bit more exciting. So that's why I really like that corner sofa. And put in a bench, because I didn't want to have another umbrella bench, because obviously I put in the umbrella over the sofas, which they can't even use, to be honest, because obviously the ottomans are right up against the chairs, so they can't even use them. But it's for image purposes, it just looks nice. And now we're moving on to the landscaping. If I hopefully got the order right, it should be, do the landscaping, then we're going to do the bedroom and the bathroom, and then we'll probably move on to the, what's it called? The screenshots at the end. I haven't taken the screenshots. I haven't taken them yet, but they will be at the end of this video. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I probably will cut off, not now, but coming up for soon. So if you have enjoyed this, please. Oh no, we've moved on to the bedroom. So I guess I think I moved back on to the. Or did I cut out? No, maybe I didn't press record. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're watching this thinking, why is this man doing YouTube? Considering how all over the place sometimes I can be. But I don't do this professionally. I'm just doing this for a bit of fun. And you can still get the most of the gist of my builds, of the fact that I do try to include a lot of it. And I really do like how this bedroom came out. Just going to say. I built using those new... the new desk, the new chair, the new laptop, and the new bookshelves that came with the free update for the freelancer's career. I kind of built in just a little unit, and I really do like the way it turned out, to be honest. Using those bookshelves probably aren't functional, but oh well, because it looks good. I think I put a bookshelf downstairs anyway, so pretty sure that you can use that one. So if it's not functional, then there's another bookshelf in the house. They're not just the only bookshelves there. So yeah, I really did like how that bedroom turned out, to be honest. And I think I cut out the final bathroom or I think I cut it out because I probably should have cut out the bottom one and had the top one out because that was the nicer of the bathrooms. But yeah, I thought you don't need to see me furnish 2 bathrooms, and I think I just remembered that I didn't put toilet roll in the bottom bathroom. So it looks like I have quite a bit of editing to do before I upload this. Well done, Connor. Record a whole video, edit it, do a voiceover, and realise it's not finished. I can't believe I forgot a fridge though. Well, at least it hasn't been uploaded without a fridge. At least that's something. At least I didn't release a whole pack without putting toilets in. But we won't go there. Yeah, I love using that shower that comes with Jungle Adventure, where you can like merge it into the wall and make it look like it's a unit rather than a set is built into the wall. And then continuing to use some of the items that came with Get Famous to try and tie in the mid-century feel to it. And I thought at first, let's use that nice marble tiling, and it just looked too posh. I'm like, this house ain't posh enough for that. And I put in those tiles in the kitchen, but I do change that in the end. And I think this is probably the final moments of the furnishing the outdoorsy bits. And sometimes I really do struggle when doing the landscaping in the desert, because you want to use sort of greenery otherwise the house just feels sparse, the outside of it especially. But then if you don't put any greenery in, but then if you put greenery in, it doesn't really match. But luckily the way they've done, I tried to match some of the trees and stuff to the ones that they've used in Oasis Springs. So those oak, I don't even know what trees they are, they look like mini oak trees to me, but they put them in Oasis Springs. Not that they probably would grow in a desert, but work. That's what they put in there, so that's what I'm going to go by. And sometimes the difficulty is that you want to put the rocks in, but then if the terrain is just a slight bit off, then they stick out by the slightest a bit, and I could see it and it was aggravating me, so I had to change it. So you could see me there trying to like level out the terrain, and I tried to make it look a little bit more natural out the front with the grass growing in the rocks. Sure, if they had a perfectly manicured garden, which they do, they probably wouldn't let the grass grow, but then it just adds an extra level to the rocks and doesn't make them look really just, that's all it is the rocks. So I like the look of it, and I use as you can see, I use quite a lot of the items that came with when they released the new update of the flowers and the trees and the stuff that came with Strangerville. If you want to get it, you have to look through the debug menu, which is accessed by doing bb.show hidden objects. But the issue with it, I think because they're debug items, is that they don't really work well on terrain. So whereas some things kind of can go down the terrain a bit, whereas this doesn't. And I just realised that I've come to the end of my video and probably going to be going into these screenshots now. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will keep trying to get them up as quick as I can, but as always, I don't know when that will be. I tried to stick to my Tuesday schedule, but that kind of went out the window a little bit. So I hope you all enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, give it a comment. I will get back to you as soon as I can with it. I do appreciate every like, every comment, every subscribe. It does mean the world to me. So I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye everyone!